Welcome back to Against All Odds. Coming up, we'll be looking at Project Bahama. Tom's attacked one of our hydraulic trailers with an angle grinder. We're also getting the tyres fitted to the wheels of our hoist tractor. We've also got an Atari's 620 coming out for some insurance work due to the most recent winds. And we are using the 7.5 as the hoist tractor to lift out a little Hunter 26 bilge keeler. So plenty going on, so stay tuned. So we're having a bit of a shuffle around in here this morning. We've got a couple of boats coming out a bit later on. We've also got the tyre guy coming to put the tyres back on one of our tractors. So this one's been used on the boat hoist for a number of years, and all the steps are rusted out, so we've had bought some new steps, had them galvanised, sandblasted and galvanised, and we had to buy some new wheels as well because they were all rotted out, and there was concern that they would actually collapse, that they were so rusty. And while we took the wheels off, we found that the bearings in there had also collapsed, because she used to go in the water quite probably up to maybe here somewhere, maybe halfway up the trumpets. The water's managed to get in and rot the bearings, so we've had the trumpets off. We've replaced the bearings inside. New wheels, decided to paint them black, a little bit different. We've also got green centres, green hub, giving her a polish, taking the transfers off, and hopefully we'll get the transfers on maybe next week or so. But yeah, the tyre guy's coming today to sort it out, and hopefully she'll be back working again. Just driving down now to the Slipway to take out the first boat of the year. Let's see what sort of state it's in. I thought we're going to have a look at this boat. One of the contractors been working on. They've had to strip all the coach roof, all the decks off. It was a lovely looking boat, but it was made, I think it's a fiberglass hull, as you can see, and then fitted out with plywood, but not marine grade ply, and fitted out very well, but the materials, as I say, weren't suitable for the environment in which the boat is obviously going to be in. You can see there's quite a bit of rot over there that they're going to have to do something with. So they've stripped it all out, and they bought all this marine grade ply, which has a guarantee of 25 years, I think they were saying, outside, stood up, unpainted. So once that's in the boat, glassed in, painted or epoxied or whatever they're going to be doing with it, then it should probably last the boat out, I would have thought. I think the other thing they're going to be doing is, see that block there on the transom, they had to put that in when the boat was new. See, the boat's been with us since it was new. I can't remember when. Normally they have a date on the transom of when the build date. But the skeg, or the cavitation plate, which is this, needs to be in line with that. It's got to be, around here. And it was too low. They made the transom too low for the engine. I think that's a 150 Suzuki. So they had to put this block in and have this plate made up right at the beginning of the boat's life. And that was done here. So I guess that the boat is about 15 to 16 years old. As I say, yeah, she's had an awful lot of rot. She did have nice teak decks, nice teak windscreen. They've managed to salvage. Oh, there's the decks there, look. We've got the deck boards there. You can see, there you go. You can just see how wet that is. So I think the idea is to take these boards back to one of the guys' workshop, and I suppose they're going to try to router off the backing ply and save the actual teak, because it's actually quite nice. And also teak, at the moment you can't get hold of teak. It's very difficult to get hold of, so they're going to try to save that and save it as much as possible, and or use it as a pattern for something else. Another piece there. And that's a pile there, look, of all the rotten bits of timber. That's a little bit of a look at this boat, and I believe the project's going to probably go on until about anticipated maybe May, so we can sort of touch back with the guys and see how they're getting on from time to time. I think it's quite an interesting project, Alfie, he's doing it. He's a nice lad. He seems dead keen, so we will see how he gets on. We got a boat that we got to go and take out. It's a little Hunter, 26-foot Hunter build keeler. So we're going to hoist it out with a tractor-driven hoist this time. This is the one, 7.5. Alright, we're rolling down the track. As I say, we're in the 7.5. 10-ton boat steam hoist. Remote control. Now this tractor does not go in the water. The tractor I showed earlier, with the one with the wheels that we've had to replace, she used to go in and out of the water for several years. That was before we bought our 16-ton Slipway hoist, self-propelled Slipway hoist. So that is the only trailer. Oh, sorry, that's the only. I was going to say that's the only hoist that goes in the water, but it's not. This hoist does go in the water, but the tractor doesn't need to anymore because we only use this hoist for lifting and launching bilge keelers, and we're able to do that by just reversing back to the edge of the water with the tractor tyres and not going any further. I'm done with putting tractors in the salt water. They're way too expensive to maintain, especially modern, sort of the modern stuff that we have. The older likes the older Fords, the old 7, 8, 10s and stuff. There's not so much happening in the back end. But these modern John Deeres, there's so many little areas that you can't clean, and salt water gets into these various crevices and just makes an absolute mess. And also they've got an awful lot of sensors as well, and these modern tractors, unlike the older sort of Fords that are used quite regularly around different boatyards. So we go. Oi! Just put it in park, I suppose. I'll save any embarrassment. Oi! Right, we need to set up the straps for this one. Just the guys have just confirmed that it's 10 paces, so we just need to set up the slings. But I got a funny feeling I'm going to need to. That is too low. There. As we go down over the concrete, it's going to, because it's got a lip where the top part of the concrete meets the ramp, there's a bit of a lip. And here we've obviously used a tractor on a different implement, and they've altered the spacing here on the other side. So we're going to have to just drop her down, take the weight off, and just wind these arms up, which will lift the whole thing up a little bit more, just so we can get the full throw of the full height of the tractor's hydraulics. Alright, done that. So got a little bit more clearance. Might be only a couple of inches, but every inch helps. So that's as far as I need to go in, just halfway up that front cross beam. I know that's all we need to take this little wheel out. So I'm just putting the slings down now. The guy's gonna walk it in. push her off midships. Things coming up now. Got that. There we have it. Good. Not too bad, really. It's a bit grubby. Right. So just going to make our way up to have a look at this little Antares that came out with the gash down her side. And she's in the same building as the Bahama. Yeah, it's tight. Have another quick look at this, see if they've done any. Doesn't look like any progress there. It's quite tight though, isn't it? Not too sure where the damage is actually. See if we can have a little look around. I don't think it's much, I think it's just like... Oh, there, look. Yeah. Looks like it's all craggy. And that's all the way through. It's wet. Imagine the rope's snapped and it's been just rubbing up against a pontoon or something, I suppose. That's another interesting job that we can follow. So just walking up now to see how Tom's been getting on with the Connor Lift 1. Here it is. So he started galvanized is funny stuff. Once it goes in and out of the salt water a few times, dries out. I don't know if it's the, well, I suppose it must be the salt that reacts with it. It goes sort of powdery, and it sort of starts lifting off a little bit in layers. So he is wire wheeling it all off, and I think we might give it a bit of paint and see if we can save it for another couple of years before we need to get it sandblasted and re-galvanized. But so he's going to be going over it with the wire wheel first, and we're going to be chopping off a few bits and pieces as well. So these are coming off. Don't need those. We don't use these sockets anymore. Also going to be taking off the pipe work, hydraulic pipe work. We're going to check all that through, make sure it's okay. Take off the wheels, take all the pins out, check the bearings. Let's have a look around this side. Now he's taking the axle off there, look. Oh, it's quite dark, I don't know if you can see. Oh, there you go, pile of scrap metal there. I'm going to give that a bit of a grind back and paint that up. Some of the bolts. We're going to take that pin out as well. Check all this. Oh, he's undone it. Oh yeah, there you go. That comes off. Okay, good. Bit of progress, which is nice. Well, we keep checking back with that as time goes on. We've also got to make another towing frame for it. It's, I don't know if you can see, it's pulled out of there. One of the guys turned a little bit too sharp, and it ended up coming into contact with the front end of the trailer over 90 degrees and has stressed these bolts out, which are captive in here, but because it's all welded, I can't get to them, and it's stripped the threads in the nuts. And this is a frame that I made up many years ago, so I think we'll probably just get someone else to make up a new frame. Might be able to save the box section, but get rid of the tube. This tube was second hand anyway, because you can see how it's all been pitted from rust. But you know, I made it because it's all we had at the time. I think we'll leave Tom and his angle grinder. If you've made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing, and we will see you next time.